highlighted a star-studded night around the association, but we start with some news as we say hello to our senior NBA insider, Shams Charania. Shams, suspensions, they were handed down after that Hornets-Pistons scuffle that we saw earlier this week. What exactly did the NBA decide?
Malika, 4 suspensions handed out today. 2 for the Charlotte Hornets. Miles Bridges and Moussa Diabate both got 4 games, but the most significant suspension in all of it was Isaiah Stewart, 7-game suspension, and then Jalen Duren got 2 games. And here's how they were divvied out. Jalen Duren got 2 games for initiating the altercation, Moussa Diabate and Miles Bridges for escalating and fighting, but Isaiah Stewart given 7 games for leaving the bench in an aggressive manner, escalating and fighting. And one thing that was a major factor in Isaiah Stewart's 7-game suspension here was not only the fact that he got off the bench, but the fact that he has some history with the league, with past suspensions. And I'm told league executive James Jones led a series of interviews with every player involved here to get a sense of what their perspective was. Isaiah Stewart had a long, emotional interview with James Jones, but they have landed on these 4 suspensions, Isaiah Stewart being the most significant at 7 games.
All right, so we see all 4 players facing some level of suspension here, but an important note, Shams, Jalen Duren, who is facing a suspension, he will be able to participate in the All-Star festivities that are happening this weekend. Shams, thank you very much for that insight and information. As we bring it inside our Los Angeles studio, Chiney Ogwumike, Danny Green, Tim MacMahon. Tim, I'm going to start with you. I know you've been talking to folks around the league. What's your reaction and the league's reaction to these suspensions?
Honestly, I think the Sheriff Adam Silver went a little bit soft on crime. I mean, really, look, especially with Isaiah Stewart, he doesn't just have history. I mean, this is a significant repeat offender who came flying off the bench, throwing haymakers. You know, when I was talking to people around the league, there was a lot of people who anticipated this could be a double-figure game suspension for him. Landed at 7 and a little bit on the light side.
Yeah, I assumed it was going to be at least 10, but this is very reasonable, lenient, very, very reasonable.
Reasonably lenient?
I like it. I'm not condoning fighting, but I'm sure there's some coaches, Joe Mazzulla, would be in like for this. You know, we need some more testiness and we need some more guys getting after it. We don't need to extend, but, you know, I'm going to say it's great for viewership, but people like to see guys get competitive.
It had me going from this and then
Popcorn,
activating the remote control. I think in some ways, largely, they got it right.
Yep.
You know, for the players that are not, like, this is new to them, Moussa Diabate, Duren, yeah, getting 2 or so plus is important because it shows that you have to deter this behavior. And when it comes to Beef Stew, you can't run from the bench, so that he absolutely had to be in that heavy. I thought it was going to be 7 to 10 here. But, you know, overall, I don't mind this chippiness because it is the dog days of the season. And on top of it, these are 2 teams that are actually showing you that they care to win. Now, we know everyone, the body language that I saw with Isaiah Stewart on the bench, everyone was like, we know this is the guy that will always do this regardless.
And he's done it before.
Yeah.
But you are #1 in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah.
And you're missing a couple of guys, you know, the next few games.
Right.
You don't want to lose the momentum you've built. And to me, that was the most costly part of this.
And that's why I like it more so, because we don't want to see, we already have enough reasons for guys to be out.
Yeah.
You know, we don't need a bunch of games for these guys to be suspended. We want to see these teams continue to thrive. So that's why I think he was lenient at the Sheriff.
And you know, when you're looking at Isaiah Stewart, he can still qualify for all defense, but he has to play in every single game for the rest of the season, at least 20 minutes, and he was on that track to get maybe an all-defensive nod here. So suspensions have been handed out there, but let's shift to the action last night on the court, shall we? And maybe Chiney Lakers fans, should we warn them to avert their eyes?
Right.
Because this is Wemby's world, and really, we were all just living in it. Keep track of that tracker at the bottom of your screen because Wemby just took over, Chiney.
Those strides are wild. It takes him 3 steps to go from half court to the rim.
This Victor run continues. Hail to the Victor. I mean, finishing emphatically down.
Thank you very much. 7-5 spinning like that. Come on.
Yeah.
Stephon Castle, their connection has been excellent.
Spotting up.
Wemby with the 3. By the way, that's 17 consecutive points for Victor Wembanyama in the first quarter.
I know right now we got to contend with him, and he's you know, he's one of the 5 best players in the world. He's put that stamp on himself, and you know, it's more than, to me, it's like more than the counting stats with him because there's such an avoidance of him defensively.
Yeah, well said, JJ. The Spurs offense, though, it was clicking. They put up a season-high 136 points. San Antonio has now scored 130 or more in 3 straight games. That is tied for their longest streak ever. And Wemby, of course, led the way. 40 points in this one, but his impact might be even more pronounced.
7'4" with a 8-foot wingspan. He can cover a lot of ground, and that's what makes him so impactful defensively. And you can see the difference of him on and off the court. 39.9%, lowest in the NBA. And when he's off the court, the 6th highest in the NBA, 48.8% when he's not on the court. So
yeah, on both ends of the floor, this was truly a masterclass.
Yeah, it absolutely was.
In a short amount of time, too.
And I loved the way that when Victor, after the game, he said, you know, we have had a tendency to play down to our competition, to play down to lesser teams. And I know it's easy to say, okay, the Lakers, they were without their big 3. Of course, the Spurs were supposed to make this kind of statement. Not always. This can be a trap game. Tim, you were there. You were listening to what Victor was saying post-game. And I don't know about you, but listening to him, watching what we saw on the floor, I started to think to myself, okay, maybe in May, maybe in June, we could still be having a conversation about this team.
Yeah, Lakers also without DeAndre Ayton. That knee stiffened up as Wemby was out there warming up. Listen, I'll tell you this. The San Antonio Spurs absolutely believe they are capable of winning a championship this season. They will also tell you, hey, if we've got one All-Star, Victor Wembanyama must be the MVP. I have not talked to a single person in the league who doesn't believe that Wembanyama is going to win championships, plural. The question is, can they skip the line? Can a team, a group with 0 playoff seasoning, essentially, make that run this season? I am skeptical, but as our buddy Wendy says, do not put a ceiling on Wemby. He'll just hit his head on it.
I mean, before the season started, I had them as a dark horse. Can't put them in that conversation when they're at the top of the West right now. But, yeah, I think they could definitely get to the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
At bet, like, depending on matchups, but I think they can get there. The tough matchup is going to be the Denver OKCs when they get there, and I think that's where the seasoning comes into play at most.
It takes a couple years. I know this coming from Houston.
I'm not going to believe it till they show it.
Yeah, exactly. Like last year, the Rockets were top 2, top 3 in the West, and then they ran into the Golden State Warriors.
You're not going to believe it till you see it.
Yeah, so exactly. So I do believe, like, you look at the Pistons, you look at the Rockets, you look at the Spurs, they're all trying to win, but I believe out of all of those 3, they're, like, when you have Victor Wembanyama, that's the ultimate cheat code.
Could not be more impressed from what we saw from Victor last night. And I was hitting the group chat. He looks like he's also put on a little bit of muscle over the course of this season as well. He really is starting to look like the player that we all expect him to be at some point. But something else happened last night on the Lakers side of all of this. LeBron James, he missed his 18th game of the season last night against the Spurs. So what does that mean? That means he's now ineligible for season honors, postseason rather, honors and awards. So that streak of 21 straight seasons of him making All-NBA, the longest in NBA history. We knew it was a probability, but it is official now that that chapter is closed. LeBron is the author, the owner of so many incredible streaks. So let's not, cry about what's happening. Let's celebrate what did happen. The most memorable accomplishment to you, Tim, when you're looking at LeBron's career? Because this has got to be up there.
I think the 3-1 comeback against the 73-win Warriors is the most remarkable championship in NBA history. That all-time leading scorer, all the numbers. This comeback is the most incredible thing that LeBron's been able to pull off in his career.
Tim, I love your pick, but I have to go from when I was a kid and I had to watch it when I wasn't in the NBA. His run against Detroit.
The fact that you're still having this conversation.
He was doing it before I got to the league, and he's still doing it after I'm in the league. But the run he had against Detroit was unbelievable, and I've seen it firsthand time and time again. And I text him, like, that was unreal, bro. I can't believe you did that. But, yeah.
Tim, you mentioned my favorite ever championship, 2016, right? That series was unbelievable.
That's your favorite ever championship?
It is, but also it was the year my sister won MVP in the WNBA.
Yeah, it was a good year. Good year in the Ogwumike house.
But I will say, we sort of sleep on the fact that he went to 10 straight NBA finals.
Yeah.
A decade of always being in the NBA finals. Make that make sense.
There's a long list of things that we can put up there that will never be broken on his record list.
Absolutely.
Say, like, oh,
that one?
That one, the 10 points in a game.
Yeah.
There's so many for LeBron in his historic career.